up, y'all? It's Stefan here with an episode of Books, Bud, and BS. Today we're talking about a theory I'm unlocking about what makes a book really good. We're seeing how we feel about platinum kush, and we're digging into the deceit that is misinformation. Let's fire this up. Okay, so recently I've been caught about town gushing about my newest read, Girl, Woman, Other by Bernadine Evaristo. So I've been telling you guys about how much I'm loving the style and her nuance with characters, and she's intertwining all of the characters and the story to make one big collective story at the end, and how much I love it and blah, blah, blah. So last week I'm starting to near the end of the book, and I just had a moment that occurred to me out of nowhere. And I had to stop and think, why do I like this book again? What exactly am I liking? This question puzzled me because I had gotten to the end of the book and realized that I might have gotten so captivated by the nuance of her style that I might have negated the quality of the story. Let me back up a bit. First picked up Bernadine Evaristo's book, I immediately noticed that her style was unlike any other style that I've ever come across in my reading life. This swept me away, honey. The newness of it all, the fact that I'd never seen anything like this, the fact that I didn't even realize I was craving newness and style or approach or something new by an author that I could grab onto and that could entice me and that I'd want to share. And it took about maybe 6-7 stories before I even started to consider the story. Actually, I'll tell you exactly what it took. It took me being shocked by a story to realize, oh, I'm reading stories, right? So this is almost embarrassing to admit because that meant that I missed so much, or I wasn't being critical about so many other things because I was so inundated with this love affair with the style. Doesn't that happen in new relationships? When we grab something new, we get just so swept away about the new that we don't see the fuck shit, right? Not that there is much here, but I wasn't reading with a critical enough eye to see if there was. So this got me to thinking about my reading in the past. Well, damn, Stefan, have all the books that you've read up until this point been good or bad based on what you needed or desired or wanted or where you were at any given time? The answer is probably yes. I think that what we read, how we receive the books that we read are directly reflective of what we need, what we want, we desire, and that determines if the book is good or not. If we don't need something, we don't desire something, we aren't in a space to receive something, we can write a book off, and that has nothing to do with whether the book is good or not. Thinking this way led me to say, okay, to test this theory, I'm gonna need to revisit some books that I've read in the past that I thought were just so monumental that I thought just, oh my God, everybody needs to read this. Mom, was the book really good, or did you just need what the book was given? Here's a list. Here are a few books I must revisit to see if these books are good, if they did me like I thought they did, if they resonated like they should, or were they just giving Fawn what Fawn needed at any given time? Check the list. First up, Babysitter's Club. Were Babysitter's Club books that good, y'all? For my 8-year-old, 9-year-old self, these girls were legit. I was living a life that I only aspired for in my 8-year-old, 7-year-old self. They had a group of friends, local drama, organized entrepreneurs and such. I wanted to get like them, but were these books any good? Are these girls lame? Are they judgmental? Were they too hot and too fast for their britches? I need to read these Babysitter's Club's books again. I want to revisit the whole Terry McMillan era of my reading life. There was an era where Terry was churning them out. And I was right there with him, reading them. Every time she dropped them, I was reading them because Terry was moving my life. Waiting to Exhale, Stella's Got a Groove Back, Disappearing Acts. I might have even read Mama. That might be a lie, but it might not be a lie, because Terry was giving the girls what they need. Early 90s, like I was just like pre-teening, feeling like I'm reading above my weight class. I was thinking I was like getting a peep up into the lady life by way of Terry. But now that I look at it, I don't know that these books were any good. I recently read a Terry McMillan book as my adult self. And yeah, I need to revisit those last ones because there's a disconnect. Do I need to revisit The Seat of the Soul? This book changed my life so monumentally as my 23, 24-year-old self just moved out to LA. I was on this spiritual journey, this spiritual voyage. This book came into my life, followed by The Secret, preceded by The Celestial Prophecy, and all of these books were so shifting for my spiritual and emotional self that I wonder if the content still resonates. Have I grown past this space? Are there still truths in this? Will it still move me? Will I still be inspired by it? I want to revisit The Seat of the Soul and all of those new books for my new spirituality to see what they do, to see if they're good or were they just good for me at that time. Definitely want to read The Secret because I have a theory too about that one. I wonder if reading it will seem oversimplified now that I've had a little practice, the law of attraction and what that means, and even the nuances in that law. I'm curious to read The Secret too. You girls might stone a bitch for this one, but try not to. There's an author that the girls just love, honey. They live by her, and I had never read her before until like last year. I gotta tell you, her work did not resonate with me. I read it anyway because I thought I should, because she's a cultural icon and all this stuff. And that one of those books would be Octavia Butler's Wild Seed. Please don't whip my ass, y'all. You should be social distancing anyway. Anyway, Wild Seed, y'all. She made me feel like I never had to read another Octavia Butler book again. I didn't even think it was a bad book, but just given the new wave and the thriving of feminism, I just wanted more from Aniabu. What's her name? What's the lady name, y'all? Anianwu. I wanted more from her. This book did not resonate with me. And I feel like had I read this when all the girls were reading it back in college, or when everybody stumbled on Octavia Butler and just really fell in love. Or maybe I should read this again when this wave, when the surge of this wave is over. I didn't get it. I read it and didn't get the hype. And I think that's directly reflective of where I am. Okay, follow me. Here is one more book that I feel like I need to revisit to see if it's as good as we thought it was. The coldest winter ever. Boom! Do y'all think The Coldest Winter Ever by Sister Soldier is any good? I know. It almost feels blasphemous, but I'm willing to ask the question. What if The Coldest Winter Ever sucks if we read it as an adult? You remember how culturally iconic The Coldest Winter Ever was. Winter Santiago entered the scene and shut us all the way down. Is midnight really that go? Or were we just 14, 15, 16 and ain't no better? This book was everywhere and everything for everybody. Nobody had not read it. People have never read a book in their life and still haven't read another book since. The Coldest Winter Ever is probably the only book that so many people have read, but they had to read that one because they simply had to. Were those stories just really appealing to that age group and that demographic and to where we were? Or do these stories still hold up? Do they still resonate? Will we still feel the same about them? I want to revisit these books to find out. I probably won't, but I'd like to. Help me! How are you guys feeling about what you're reading and what you've read in past? Have these books been good, or have they just been good to you or for you for that specific time? It's a theory. Another theory that I recently debunked for myself was that I like all weed. I'm learning that I don't, right? That was the time you asked me, Safon, what you like? What kind of weed you like? Indica, sativa, hybrids, I like it all. It's a lie. I don't like no indicas, y'all. I've been smoking platinum this week, all week, and I've realized that I don't like it. I think it's beautiful. I ain't even a filter like that when she looks so good. All beauty with no bustle. If anybody knows anything about an indica, that can be a little more relaxing, sedating, generally used for nighttime, let's say movie watching, going to sleep. I'm not an indica girl, and I knew that about myself. It almost is less than a natural, nice sedation. It feels like it's working against something in me, almost like I don't want to be like that. Like I want to still be active, still thinking and moving, and I smoked this last night, went to sleep right after, woke up still feeling heavy, had to try to run it off. I don't want to relax that hard. I do think platinum kush can be great for someone who has issues with anxiety, issues sleeping, issues with turning off the inner dialogue. I prefer a hybrid. I don't want to be laying there stuck thinking about who shot John. I want to be up, moving, ba ba ba. As soon as I'm done with this stash, I'm about to smoke it now because it's all I have, because I ain't no dummy either. Y'all, fuck platinum. You know what else I'd like to issue a hearty fuck you to? Misinformation. Because you really been on your bullshit for this last month. When I tell you, people need to understand that I don't know is a great answer. Just say you don't know, especially when you don't. Because guessing and spewing off some bullshit about what you think you know sets me further back than telling me you don't know to begin with. If you tell me you don't know, I might take it upon myself to try to find out for myself, because now you've told me that I can't rely on you for the information, and that's fair game. When you act like you do know, I then become dependent on your knowing, and I take your knowing as truth, thereby adopting that truth into my life when the truth is misinformation. Don't do me like that. Tell me you don't know. I'll tell you I don't know. And we'll do this as a courtesy to each other. This has been another episode of Books, Bud, and BS, and I've had a freaking blast. Let me know your theory. How do you feel about books and timeliness? Let me know how you feel about platinum. Does it hold up? Does that indica do you right? Let me know how you feel about misinformation. Would you rather somebody tell you what they think just to instill hope? Or would you rather somebody just tell you I don't know and spare you the bullshit? Jump on over to our Facebook group, Books, Bud, and BS, because that's where we're talking, digging deep into the books that we're reading. Grown Woman Other by Bernadine Evaristo. Next book coming up in May. Jumping over there, grab the book. Let's read, let's chat, let's vibe. This your girl. Fine. Holla at me.